Ladies and gentlemen, today's date is Monday, January the 5th, 2026. The time is now 7:32, and this meeting will come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hines. Councilmember Kennedy. Councilmember Brownson.
Here.
Councilmember Little.
Present.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Council President Noble.
Here.
Mayor Lilly.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I ask that we now have a moment of silence. Thank you. Next, we are going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask at this time that everyone who is able will please join us in standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, next we'll have meeting minutes. We have them for two dates, for December 17th and also revised minutes for December 1st. They were distributed in advance. Are there any additions or changes to the minutes for December 17th and December 1st? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved as they were presented in the agenda. Next, we'll move to approval of our main agenda. Is there a motion to approve our agenda for tonight?
I make a motion that we approve tonight's main agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's main agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it, and our agenda is approved. First, we have our Law Enforcement Appreciation Proclamation. This proclamation reads, whereas the town of Forest Heights is a community united in its commitment to fostering inclusivity, innovation, and sustainability, while preserving the unique character and natural beauty that define our home. And whereas the residents of the town of Forest Heights continually demonstrate resilience, generosity, and civic pride, contributing to the betterment of our town and the well-being of its people. And whereas the town of Forest Heights recognizes the unwavering dedication, bravery, and sacrifices of local law enforcement officers who work tirelessly to ensure the safety and security of our community. And whereas the commitment of law enforcement personnel to uphold justice, maintain public order, and build trust with our community is essential to the well-being and prosperity of Forest Heights. And whereas January 9th is observed as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, providing an opportunity for our town to honor and express gratitude to the men and women who serve in law enforcement roles. And whereas it is fitting and proper to acknowledge and celebrate the contribution of our local law enforcement officers who exemplify professionalism, courage, and dedication. Be it further resolved that this proclamation serves as a call to action for all members of our community to join in expressing their appreciation, support, and respect for our local law enforcement officers and their families. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and town council of the town of Forest Heights and its citizens, do hereby proclaim January 9th, 2026 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in recognition of the remarkable contributions of law enforcement officers to the safety, security, and spirit of our town. This day, January 5th, 2025. 2026. I would also add, before we consider the motion, to approve this law enforcement appreciation proclamation, that we had several incidents of proactive police work in the past few weeks that I could recognize. Chief, did you want to talk about some of those examples?
Yes, the guys have been doing a tremendous job. I can't thank them enough. We were able to catch multiple suspects that were wanted for the range from homicide to burglary to rape. And these guys were out there being proactive in the town and were able to get them into custody safely without anyone being injured and professionally. So it's a testament to their commitment to keeping the town safe and to being proactive and being dedicated to the city and keeping everybody's well-beings in mind.
Thank you, Chief Ruffin. Is there well, I move that we approve the motion to adopt the Law Enforcement Appreciation Day proclamation.
Second, if you need it.
All right, it has been moved and seconded that we approve the Law Enforcement Appreciation Day proclamation. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the ayes have it, and this proclamation is adopted. I'm going to sign this now, and if you would come forward, Chief, we'll present it to Chief Ruffin.
Thank you, Chief.
Next, we have the Martin Luther King Jr. Day proclamation. This proclamation states, whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. dedicated his life to advancing equality, justice, and human rights, embodying the principles of nonviolence and peaceful resistance in the struggle against racial discrimination and injustice, inspiring millions to pursue a vision of a better, more inclusive society. And whereas his unwavering commitment to nonviolence, civil rights, and community building has left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of all who seek to honor his legacy. His leadership during the civil rights movement secured historic victories, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, transforming the American landscape and inspiring movements for human rights across the globe. And whereas the town of Forest Heights recognizes the importance of fostering unity, compassion, and service to strengthen the bonds of our community, to challenge injustice, seek understanding, and build bridges of opportunity and equality for all people. And whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Day provides an opportunity for the residents of Forest Heights to come together in reflection, celebration, education, and acts of service that honor his legacy and advance the principles he stood for. And now, therefore, we, the mayor and town council of the town of Forest Heights, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 19th, 2026, as Martin Luther King Jr. Day of unity and community service in the town of Forest Heights. And I encourage all residents, businesses, and organizations to observe this day, engaging in acts of kindness, participating in community service projects, and fostering dialogue that promotes understanding and unity among all people. Let us honor Dr. King's vision and work to create a brighter, more equitable future for all. This day, January 5th, 2026. Is there a motion to adopt the Martin Luther King Jr. Day proclamation?
I move that we adopt Martin Luther King Jr. Day proclamation.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the Martin Luther King Jr. Day proclamation. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The proclamation is adopted. Next, we will have the swearing in of our newest strategic planning commissioner, Miss Amy Griffin, if you please come forward. So for those who don't know at home, we passed a resolution recently appointing Ms. Griffin as our fourth member of the Strategic Planning Commission. She's a member of the town of Forest Heights, and some years ago helped us run our Economic Empowerment Series, which was a free 5-week series that we offered to residents in the town. And so we're happy to have you join the Strategic Planning Commission. And now we're going to have you sworn in. And it looks like you will be, let's see, you'll be affirming. And do you have someone you'd like to hold the Bible for you today? Okay. If you would please come step in front of the podium. You will stand here with the Bible and you'll stand there, place your left hand on the Bible. Okay. And raise your right hand. I state your name.
I
Do affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
Strategic Planning Commissioner
Strategic Planning Commissioner
in the town of Forest Heights,
for the state,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Congratulations. Okay, so we are going to take a picture, right? Correct? But we're going to sign and then we'll take a picture. All right, let's just congratulate again, Ms. Griffin, for joining the Strategic Planning Commission. Thank you for your service and willingness to step up and volunteer. Next, we will move into presentations. And I actually offer an amendment. I don't see our youth ambassador here at the moment. So we'll wait. If not, we'll amend the agenda and just maybe move that to a later meeting. All right, next on our agenda is the Food Access and Hunger Task Force. At this time, I ask if Ms. Kathy Clark and Ms. Doris Stevens would come forward. And you can stand at the podium, and if you could turn that mic on for us, please. When you see it green, then you'll know it's on.
Oh, so.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in November, during the federal government shutdown, I received a phone call from Ms. Kathy Clark and also Ms. Cynthia Mann, who's not here tonight. They were calling about affected families who were going to lose their food benefits as part of the SNAP benefits distribution, which was canceled due to the federal government shutdown. On that unusually warm day, we gathered in the parking lot at St. Mark AME Church, which is over across the street next to Henry's Soul Cafe, and distributed food to residents in need. There were over 100 bags packed that day by volunteers who had funded that effort out of their own money. And it became clear that that crisis was not just in that moment. The food that we gave out that day, there's a need for it every day, it turns out, around our community. And so the residents who were at St. Mark that day challenged me to figure out what we could do that's more, and that's on a regular basis to meet the need. So tonight I'm announcing that we are going to form a food access and hunger task force, which will be comprised of community members, some elected officials, faith-based partners, and nonprofits. They will be charged over the next 6 months to study 5 crucial questions and then come back to give recommendations to the council. The first question is, how many individuals or families do we need to serve? We know that people show up, and we need to have an assessment and some data around what effort we think we can provide. Second, what food programs or services already exist in our area, and where are there opportunities for partnership? As we consider doing this effort, we don't want to duplicate things that are already happening. And if there's an opportunity to partner with someone and bring them into the town of Forest Heights, we'd like to explore that as well. Next, how often can we realistically hold a distribution? Could it be weekly, monthly, or more frequently? We'd like to find that out. Fourth, what location can we use to safely store the food as well as distribute it? We'd like to look at those options because we know in one of the most recent distributions, we got a donation of some items, but we had to make sure we were able to safely store them so nothing went to waste. And finally, one of the most crucial questions of all, how much would this effort cost, and how much time and volunteer support would it require? In the next 90 days, I'm asking if Ms. Kathy Clark, Ms. Doris Stevens, Ms. Cynthia Mann, who's not here tonight, has agreed to be part of this task force, and Council Member Paula Noble, as well as Council Member Tanya Hines, also have expressed interest from the town side. So I would ask if in the next 90 days, these individuals can come together and return to the council with an initial assessment of what we think the need is, the number of people, what we think we can do, and what dollar amount may be required for us to get started. At this time, I would like to open it up to Ms. Kathy Clark and Ms. Doris Stevens just to share a little bit more about what inspired you to do this and what you're looking forward to as part of the task force.
Well, as you know, you spoke on that from the very beginning, that I was in my kitchen fixing myself something to eat, and all of a sudden I felt like I got smacked upside my head. So something said to me, you're feeding yourself, but what about these other people out here have lost their jobs and they need food too? So that's how the idea came to me about doing this. And I know that, and you can say too, each time, it's 2 times we did this and it was very successful. And yes, we did have to go in our pocket to get the money. So maybe there's some kind of way we can sit down and all of us can get together and figure out something, and you too, everybody, anybody to come to get this thing going so we can keep it going. If not, then I don't know how long we can keep it going.
Thank you, Ms. Clark, and you're right. We did the event in November and then came back in December.
Mhm.
We're able to use some donations from the sheriff's office, from the county, and some other items
Yes.
to do it again. So thank you for being a part, for being one of the sparks for doing this. And that's one of the reasons we invited the Greater Oxon Hill CDC to be a part. So there's a transparent way for people to donate and for the funds to be handled and managed and publicly reported. So thank you. Ms. Stevens, did you have anything to add?
No, she said it all.
And I think we can continue to do it at the
Yeah.
church. Mr. Brown said that we could use the church to do it. So it's a place that we can continue to do it. They also do it on Fridays, but we can continue to do it down there as at the moment we can. Unless it's something come up and say we can't do it.
Okay, very well. Well, in the next 3 months, we'll be able to really look at all options and possibilities and come together, we hope, with some recommendations for the council to consider.
But while we were doing that, we did get a lot of people that did come through say
Mhm.
that they were out of work, and you know how they had been laid off from their jobs, and they appreciated the food that were distributing.
Well, thank you both very much. We look forward to the work of the task force, and thank you for volunteering your time and effort. Well,
Thank you.
before you leave, I see there's a question from Councilmember McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Clark and Ms. Stevenson, for this effort and for those who are going to be participating. I just wanted to see how the community garden can play some kind of role in this, given that the community garden, plays a role in our sustainability in the town of Forest Heights and is a priority action. So I wanted to see how, if even on a small scale, the community garden could play a role. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Okay, next we have on our agenda a presentation from our youth ambassador, but he's not here today. So I move that we amend tonight's agenda to remove the presentation at this time. We'll find another date for that. Is there a second?
A second.
It has been moved and seconded that we amend tonight's agenda, removing the presentation by the youth ambassador until a later date. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the ayes have it, and our agenda is amended. Next, we'll have council member and mayor reports. First, we'll begin in Ward 1 with Council Member McDonald.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Only thing I have to report is the meeting that we'll be having with the Healthy Heights seniors meeting on January the 17th at 10 a.m. Also wanted to, I guess, just mention the follow-up from the Green Team in our meeting with the River Keepers folks and them wanting to get our participation with the upcoming events that they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McDonald. Next, I'll go to Councilmember Little, also from Ward 1.
Good evening, everyone. I only want to wish everyone a happy new year. Hope everyone stays safe and enjoy your 2026. And also remember to stop at the stop signs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Little. Next, we'll go to Councilmember Kennedy from Ward 2.
Pretty much what Councilwoman Little said. Happy New Year. Let's all work together to make 2026 a better new year for everyone. Ourselves, our neighbors, because we have to reach out and go back to old school neighbors. Also, with the stop sign, I don't know if people are noticing that the cameras are going up. They are stationary cameras. And you would want to stop before the line. If you stop after the line, you just contributed to the funds. Other than that, Happy New Year, and let's all work to make 2026 better.
Thank you, Councilmember Kennedy. Next, we'll go to Council President Noble in Ward 3. My apologies. Have me go to Councilmember Kennedy first. Councilmember Brownson, Ward 2.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to mention that I attended the holiday party for the children on December the 20th, and it was a great turnout. So I want to thank Keith Holland and Councilwoman Hines for organizing such a good event. And the only thing I can say about that is I wish that someone from Public Works would have been there because, it was such a turnout that we were kind of overwhelmed. So we ran out of toilet tissue, we ran out of paper towels, we ran out of trash bags. So I think in the future, when we have events that's sponsored by the town, if we could have some Public Works person or persons on standby to help facilitate some of those trash removals, breakdowns, and things like that. But the turnout was great. It was a great time had by all. And so and I want to mention that we're going to have our second quarter Ways and Means Committee meeting, the fourth Saturday in this month from 10 to 11 or 11 to 12. So I want to mention that to everyone to come out and listen to the status of the finances for the town, ask your questions and participate. And that's going to be on a Saturday, and it will be in the newsletter, the board, so everybody can come out. And one more thing is that I have been riding through the town, and I mentioned this before, is the star cleaners. I mean, I don't know, I think there used to be a board up to the front of it, and somehow it got knocked down so you can see right through it. And I noticed that people have been dumping stuff in that space. And I also saw a truck back up there and put trash in the dumpster. So I don't know if there's some way we can block off the dumpster so anybody just can't come and throw trash in our town dumpster, because I know we pay for that. I know there used to be a fence and we had to pay for it, but if we can just get a chain to go from one end to the other, just a little deterrent to stop everybody from dumping in our dumpster that we have to pay for. And I just want to ask, I don't remember seeing, did we get a copy of the presentation from our last meeting that she said she was going to send? Yes. Did you send it out? Okay, I'll have to look at it, but thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Brownson. Yes, we'll have some updates on some of the things you mentioned later today in the presentations from staff. Lastly, we'll go to Council President Noble, Ward 3.
Thank you. Happy 2026, chance to start over. Today we had a neighborhood watch meeting with the chief, and we had residents who were introduced to the chief for the first time, so that was a good thing. And we talked about out-of-state tags. We talked about speed limit signs. We know that there's signs at the entrances that acknowledge the 25 speed limit, but we talked with the chief about posting more signs throughout the town because we have a lot of speeding. And now that, children, we want to be safe of all of our residents. Also, the chief talked about starting the Citizens Academy. We're looking forward to that this year. Some other concerns were the street lights are very dim. So I don't know if the light needs to be replaced or what's going on, but the light is very, very dim throughout the town. WSSC was out before New Year's Day with a fix on Creek Drive. I think it may have fixed some of the water problems. They acknowledged that it was from 2 homes, so we don't have the running as much. But if Public Works could make it their business to get the leaves on Creek at the grates, it would be appreciated. Also, I want to remind everyone of our third Friday card playing and crocheting starting at 6:30. So this month will be the 16th.
The 23rd.
16th. Third Friday. Is it?
Third.
I'm getting it confirmed by the crochet expert. It is, I'm correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm correct. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Correct.
So it's January 16th at 6:30. So come out. The card playing has been successful as well as the crocheting. So if you have some projects you want to work on, if you want to start something, it's a good time to come out and make ropes. And I want to thank our town administrator for providing card tables for the card playing group. Thank you. And one request from residents, will we have a shred date? You said no?
Not currently.
No,
but
we don't have one, but.
No, we have an idea to add one.
Okay, very good.
But for the record, just put that on the record so we make sure.
Yes, put that on the record. We need a shred date.
Is there a recommendation for a time of the year?
I think spring cleaning, like maybe April, March, end of March. Mhm. And maybe going forward, if we could designate 2 times out of the year, and we just know on the third Saturday or whatever, I'm just picking a date, that is consistent. Thank you.
We can get a date on the calendar. Repeating it, we'll need to look into just to see how the schedule works. But yeah, third Saturdays is a date. We're going to be bringing people out for things anyway. So I'll leave that for next meeting.
I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Noble. I'll start sharing. Get this to present today. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, this is the mayor's report for January 2026. Welcome to 2026, everyone. We had a host of events that we closed out 2025 with very strong. So today's report will be a lot shorter. One of the things I want to call out is that WSSC is going to be holding a sewer main rehabilitation meeting on January the 8th at 6:30 p.m. This will be a virtual meeting for the community. It's going to start at 6:30. It will run until 7:30 to discuss the Forest Heights sewer main replacement project. This is going to be happening on the west side of town. So the side where Hembry's is, a lot of the streets will have sewer mains replaced and work done to improve the flow and the reliability of those services. In order to join the meeting, you can go to www.wsscwater.com/project meetings. We also sent out information about this meeting through the email blast, and attendees who attend can learn about upcoming work, and you'll have an opportunity to ask some questions. We've been trying to coordinate with WSSC much more regularly, especially with the many water main breaks that we've experienced. Recently, they were able to send us a 3-year plan of capital improvements that they have in the works for the town of Forest Heights, just so we can understand what is coming and keep you updated. This is just another slide with more information for those of you who are at home, so you can see the areas that are likely to be covered by this rehabilitation project. It also has instructions for joining the meeting by phone. 240-800-7929 is the phone number if you'd like to call in. As mentioned, we had many holiday events, and I was able to attend several of them, including Santa at Your Door with the Forest Heights Police Department. We rode around the town virtually every street on one of the coldest and windiest nights of the year. Thankfully, Santa was not injured or didn't have any permanent health challenges after riding on the top of the fire truck for 3.5 hours. And then 12 hours later or less, the police department, I wasn't able to attend this, but they did Shop with a Cop in partnership with Target, which has been a partner for the last 3 years, I believe, which was a success. And then, as mentioned earlier, the Children's Christmas Party was hosted here in the town hall room, and we had such an overwhelming turnout. People kept filing in, and now we had more people than places to sit, more people than food to eat, which was a great thing in this case. Karaoke, a lot of people connecting, meeting, and having a great time. So thank you for everyone who supported both of those events, the police department, our town administrator, our events coordinator, our council members who attended and served. I saw Council Member Brownson serving food. So Everybody was involved. It was really a great turnout and a great event. Did I miss anyone? Anyone else we need to recognize for the multitude of events that happened in December? No. Councilmember Little, you're getting a call out, a shout out. You were participating in the children's party as well, weren't you? Uh, we've had someone who's been sneaking up with our events. Our town clerk was very helpful as well. So thank you for your efforts and all that you did. This Okay, my slide is not where it needs to be today. So there's upcoming events. They've already been mentioned. The card night is coming. The senior plus 60 committee meeting is coming. So please be sure to come out for those. We're looking to move into a mode of planning this month where we start to anticipate what we're going to do this year and over the years to come. And we would like your input. That concludes our reports for this month. You mentioned the finance committee meeting. You did. Yes. Thank you. All right, that concludes the reports, not for this month, but for this meeting. For this meeting, not this month. Well, I should also say, if you haven't gotten your vaccines or your shots, there's a mean something that is making its way through not only Forest Heights, but just the area in general. So be sure to do all you can to protect yourself and your immune system this winter. Next, we'll go into public period. This is a time when members of the public can address the mayor and council and ask any questions. If we're able to provide an answer today, we will. And if not, we can direct your inquiry to the appropriate department head or official for an answer or a follow-up within the next 72 hours. Is there anyone who wishes to speak during public period at this time? Okay, going once, going twice, hearing none. I saw a hand fly up just as the curtain closed. Miss Stevens, you can come forward, please. Yes, you do. Yes, please. And once you get to the mic, turn it on, make sure it's green. That's so folks at home can also hear. And if you could just tell us your name and your street.
My name is Doris Stevens, and I live on South Huron Drive. Question, since Councilman Noble mentioned Shred Day, they used to have also a dump day. And if people, they might be still dumping because they think that there still is a dump day in Forest Heights. Because the early part of the year, last year, they advertised it online, but it wasn't in the paper. So a lot of people were talking about it was online, and I did bring it to the town's attention that it was advertised online that Forest Heights was having a dump day. The second thing is on the weekends, there's a lot of construction being done on the weekends throughout the town. And I know for a fact that there isn't a permit. So is it that someone can patrol the town to find out who's doing all this remodeling throughout the town on the weekends?
Is it only on the weekends?
A lot of it is on the weekends.
Is there some of it that happens during the week? Because we have code enforcement who can patrol and look for activities that are happening either outside of the hours when construction noise is allowed or if it's being done without a permit.
No, it's on the weekends.
Well, if
Yeah.
it's unpermitted,
I have contact my council person about construction that has been done on the weekends.
if it's work that's happening that's not permitted, if it's detected on the weekend, it can still be collected as a violation. So if you could report, if you know that there's work going on either through our citizen portal or directly to our code enforcement, we can get you that email address tonight before you leave as well. So you can report that. And to answer your other question, we have noticed the activity with the dumping. One of the reasons why people may have dumped in the dumpsters is because we had a fence prior. We are actually working on a few solutions to security area and to eliminate any vagrancy, anything that is going to bring negative attention or further contribute to the decline of the building, the site. We're working on several options, which the town administrator will give us an update on later tonight. And thank you for your comments, Ms. Stevens.
Thank you.
Councilmember Brownson.
I was wondering, Ms. Stevens may have been talking about when we had the cleanup day and people could bring and dump in the back of the building for an entire week. They had a dumpster back there. Maybe that's what she was referring to about dumping a day, because we had a cleanup week where anybody can come and dump in behind the municipal building. So and we haven't had one this year, but the town usually sponsor that.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that day specifically. I was just thinking about last year, what we had on the calendar. And one thing we did was Lee Detroit had a cleanup day that they sponsored. And we got the information, we put it out. However, the weather changed and it ended up raining profusely on that day. That was in May. And so they ended up not having, that was a shred day. As far as a dumping day, we haven't had one that we've advertised in the past year, to my knowledge. So maybe there was a miscommunication of some sort. Council President, do you have info about that?
We did have a dump. It was almost a dump week, and it was at the cleaners. So that's what she's talking about. But at that time, we had Public Works sitting outside, so you could dump it. I mean, and maybe that was not last year, but year before last. It was a week of dumping.
Yes,
So people
the
just
week
dump.
before, I remember prior year, yes, I do. We didn't have it last year, but I guess sometimes they say old habits die hard. So.
Or no one told people to stop dumping.
But thank you for your comments and for bringing that to our attention. We have noticed it and are working on a plan that anticipates some of the things that people may do, that all these different variables, so that once we put it in place, it's going to be a durable plan. All right, any other public comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll move into legislation for action. The first item under our agenda is Resolution 01-26, which is a resolution of the mayor and council of the town of Forsyth Heights, Maryland, amending the FY26 budget as it pertains to the code enforcement officer salary. I move that we adopt Resolution 01-26.
A second.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 01-26. Discussion. I'll give a brief overview of this resolution. In our prior meeting, the town administrator and treasurer gave us information about reestablishing the full-time code enforcement position. As you all know, in the past year or two, this position has been the additional duty of a sworn police officer. So that person handled code enforcement and also patrolled when needed. This resolution would establish a full-time role where a civilian is dedicated to doing this role, and it will help us to capture some of the fees and costs that we've been missing out on for illegal activity in the town. It will help us to address sign maintenance, parking. In fact, we have a parking enforcement software that we can use now to help ensure that parking on the streets in the town is available to residents and vehicles that are properly registered in the state of Maryland. It helps us with local compliance in the code, with transparency, and with ensuring that person is fully trained and dedicated to those efforts. The code is one of the guiding documents of the town, and code compliance is one of our main duties as administrators of the town. And so with that, I'll open it up to questions from the council. And I saw Council President Noble had a question.
And I don't know if the question is for the treasurer, but I know we had a code enforcement officer in the previous budget. But was that line item removed and we're adding it back, or are we just moving the funds?
Yeah, we're moving the funds, and I actually will open it up to Mr. Frankenfield to give a little more insight on that matter. Mr.
Yeah.
Frankenfield?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy New Year. Council President, yes, I think when we drafted 25's budget, we had a police officer performing the code functions, so we adopted that salary as part of the police salaries. And what we're doing with this change is creating a new position that'll be strictly for the code officer. So hence the need to add appropriations tonight to the budget.
Council President?
I guess I'm getting not confused, but I know we had a code enforcement officer, period. Not a police, I know we had a police officer acting as the code enforcement, but prior to that, we had a code enforcement position. So is this the position being added back?
Correct. And I think we're getting switched between 24 and 25's budget. Maybe in 24, we had a dedicated code position. Now yes, we are adding the code position back.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I see where their confusion is. We have the line, we didn't have it funded, right? So since a officer was performing that function, their line item was paid. We didn't have any funds allocated in the budget to the standalone code position. And so by doing this, it is Mr. Frankenfield, correct me if I'm wrong, it's an increase in expenditure because it's $50,000 that we weren't planning to spend in the initial budget, and it's going to be dedicated to this role. So that police officer role will remain. Their function will be strictly patrolling and police directed work. We're going to fund the full-time code enforcement position, which wasn't funded in recent years' budget. Councilmember Brownson.
So does the position description come before the position, or the position come then a position description? Because if we're gonna have add a full-time court enforcer, wouldn't we need a position description to see what they're gonna be doing to justify the salary?
Councilmember Brownson, thanks for your question. So Chief Ruffin, I'll let him answer. We have the description of the role, and he has looked at that. So the position and the description exists. This measure is simply allowing the appropriation for the funds to pay that individual. And we brought it before council because one, it changes expenditure, and then also we'll have to come back to present a resolution to hire someone into the full-time position before they're hired. And Chief Ruffin, if there's anything else to add, sir. I don't know if there's.
No, but we have looked at it. We have adjusted it. But like the mayor said, we are now just trying to make sure it's funded so that we can separate the two positions and we can allocate somebody strictly to code enforcement moving forward.
Council President Noble.
With that being said, Chief, do we have the old job description? Is it for the code enforcement officer? Is it going to change more duties or additional duties, or will it be the same as the previous code enforcement officer position?
The previous code enforcement officer, we do have the job description to answer that first question. The only other duty that we will be adding will be the parking aspect of it, but everything else would be the same.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Question for the mayor. So is this something we need to vote on tonight? I don't know if it's been posted, this position's been posted for possible candidates or not.
Yes, it has been posted, and Chief Ruffin has some individuals who seem promising. We're looking to fill the position, especially with the some of the concerns that have been brought up tonight, we've been witnessing them in the town. Construction, vehicles, parking, other safety or compliance issues. We know that we need to be on top of those and to continue the work to bring them into compliance.
That is parking enforcement different from code enforcement? Like, is that a different position? Or is code enforcement an additional duty?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
So you have someone, you had a code enforcement officer prior. I don't know that they were enforcing parking. So that sounds like an additional duty according to the chief.
So let's start and try something different. So the chief has reviewed and completed a job description for several of the duties that are needed related to code, right? And so the position is posted. He's in charge of looking at how to best enforce code within the town, right? There's parking regulations as part of that. And so that part is handled. In this measure, we are simply looking to identify funds to pay this individual. And so the chief has looked through, the position has looked through, he provided a report that shows the staffing and the needs and the manpower for the department. So that part is answered. Council Member Brownson.
Yes, okay, so the reason I asked about the position description and I'm looking at the salary, and I know more times than not, people that leave the town leave for a higher pay. So you're adding duties to this position that was previously there, and the one that was here before left for a higher pay, and now you're adding more duties to the position. So are we gonna get someone that, looking at this salary, and that's why I asked about the job description, I don't know what it says, but are you gonna get someone to do that work for this salary and want to stay here, at least for a couple of years? I mean, have you looked at other job descriptions and duties and looked at the salaries and make sure that this is comparable with what other municipalities are doing? Because people come and go so fast that we are always just spinning our wheels. So maybe we want to be a little more strategic on how we advertise and write the descriptions in comparison with the salaries.
Yes, well, thank you for the question, Councilmember Brownson. It sounds like you are concerned about the person being compensated well compared to other municipalities, about longevity, and I understand where you're coming from. I do. This salary is an increase from the position in the past. And Chief Ruffin, could you tell us about if you were able to compare to other municipalities and if it appears that someone will want to work for the salary as it's listed?
Yes, compared to other municipalities, this is an average salary that is pretty standard across multiple jurisdictions. The job description does state traffic laws inside of it, and so it encompasses everything that you guys are asking for. So we do have multiple candidates that are interested in it based on the salary that was presented.
Just a moment. Council President Noble.
Parking enforcement, and I'm just, because I know we had a police officer doing this before. So is parking enforcement done by law enforcement, or code enforcement officer can do it as well?
It can be done by a civilian. Both
Okay.
jobs can be handled
All
by
right.
civilian. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Councilmember Brownson.
This will be a flexible position.
Please use your mic.
This will be a flexible position.
No, I heard you. I was talking to Councilperson Brownson. Thank you.
All right. Is there any further discussion on Resolution 01-26? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember McDonald.
Yes.
I just want to confirm that Councilmember Hines hasn't logged on.
No, she won't be joining tonight.
Okay. Council President Noble,
Yes.
Mayor Lilly,
Yes.
6 yeses, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Lilly, I do have a question. We skipped over the department reports, so just wanting to know if you wanted.
They are after this.
That's not what I have here, but it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's well on the as they say on the dais, we're all in one accord. Next, we have Resolution 02-26. This is a resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Forest Heights accepting Bayland as the vendor for the Black Hawk Lane project environmental study. I move that we adopt Resolution 02-26. Is there a second?
A second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 02-26. Discussion. So I'll give a brief overview of this resolution. After initiating a procurement process, 2 qualified vendors were identified for the Black Hawk Lane project, and this is to advance the necessary planning, environmental review, and administrative phases, but without authorizing construction. This resolution will protect the town's finances by separating vendor selection from funding authorization and construction approval. It'll confirm availability and federal obligation of the HUD funds to support the eligible soft costs, minimizing reliance on local funds, and it provides fiscal oversight through verification by the town treasurer and future council authorization for project work, construction work. It will maintain the administrative readiness and HUD compliance while preventing premature expenditures or work commencements. And at this time, I'll open it up for questions. Is there any discussion on Resolution 02-26? Council President Noble.
Yes. I see where December 17th, the treasurer certified that we've done all the required submissions. My question is, has that funding been deposited into the town?
Mr. Frankenfield.
Yes, the town received that $327,000 drawdown at the end of December.
Oh, it's been received. Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you for the question, Council President. Thank you, Mr. Frankenfield. That is good news. And it firmly places the town in a position to award this environmental study and begin the next phase so we can move closer to construction. We know that residents on Black Hawk Lane have been dealing with a street that has been in serious decline with deteriorated and often freezing conditions that have made it impassable for many periods of the winter over many years. This project also begins some of our larger scale work that we plan to do in relation to stormwater, particularly on the west side of town, where we have some of the steepest streets that have experienced the most effects from flooding. We, as the town, do all that we can with the funding that we have. We believe completing this project successfully will help us to lobby for more funds from both our state and federal partners in the funding years to come. And then it's also going to be part of the capital improvement plan that we deliver later this year to assess the infrastructure of the town and to mark up and identify future projects that we want to capture funding for. Council President Noble.
Last question on this. With this vendor, did we get a schedule from them once they've been selected, the process?
No, we haven't, but that's going to be one of our first requests as soon as we notify the vendor that they've been selected.
All right,
We will obtain a schedule.
thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Resolution 02-26? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember McDonald,
Yes.
Council President Noble,
Yes.
Mayor Lilly.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we'll move into legislation for discussion. We have Resolution 03-26. This is a resolution of the Town of Forest Heights establishing and expanding school zones and authorizing automated speed enforcement on Maryland 210 and Livingston Road. We're not voting on this resolution tonight. It was brought forth at the advice of our town administrator, and it is related to enhancing safety for students and families by establishing and enforcing school zones in areas with high pedestrian activity, school bus traffic, and daily pickup and drop-offs. This is designed to reduce speeding and aggressive driving through the use of automated speed enforcement in corridors with documented excessive speeds and severe crash histories. It also supports our Vision Zero goals by prioritizing prevention of serious injuries and fatalities and reducing that loss of life on local roadways. For some additional context, I will turn it over to our town administrator and chief administrative officer, Mr. Clay Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only thing that I would add is in our meetings with the State Highway Administration, it was noted by them that our initial requests for permitting to install cameras on Route 210 north and southbound at Kirby and Livingston was initially denied because the town had not designated that area as a school zone. And so it was based on that meeting, it is suggested that we first do that, and then we in turn submit that information back to State Highway Administration in parallel to the work that we're doing in Annapolis to ratify our position to install new cameras on Route 210, as well as the efforts that we have been trying to make to regain or take control of the existing speed camera in front of Oxon Hill Elementary School on the 7600 block of Livingston Road.
Council President Noble. Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, how do we designate, are there signs that will be placed as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And also, I know when Vision Zero did their presentation, they talked about signs for speeding within the town limits, that we could get some signs. I know we talked about getting some signs for the residents, so I don't know what the status is of that. You don't remember?
I do remember, but I don't know what the status of that.
Okay, thank you.
Either, yeah.
Councilmember Brownson.
I have a question about how far away from a school can a school zone sign be? Because how far is Austin Hill Elementary from 210?
So it is my understanding that it is within proximity, but our situation is not unique. which will be our argument if we are denied again once we do designate this portion of 210 as a school zone. There are similarities in existing areas in the county, one being Central High School, where there are cameras on Central Avenue within similar proximity to Central High School. The specific mileage, I will briefly research and follow up with you in this meeting.
But right, because I know that I think in Kirby Road and 210, they have that overpass where the kids can walk over and don't necessarily have to get on 210. So you think that's?
So I think it's aerial mileage. I don't, it's just not road mileage.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and just to add an additional note, this piece of legislation is brought for discussion because we wanted to bring to the council and figure out, is this something we want to do, and have discussion around it and see any other considerations. I'll also add that across the street from Oxon Hill Elementary is St. Columba Catholic Church, which has a daytime Catholic school that students attend. So there are two schools that we brought in our recent annexation on that lower portion of Livingston Road. So we wanted to discuss it tonight to find out where the council stood and collect your input and feedback on this. Council Member McDonald.
Are fees increased because it would be located in the school zone?
I'll direct that to Mr. Jackson. I'm not sure.
So I'm not aware of any particular special increase because it's in the school zone. The fines will be set based on the speed camera program. But what does regulate the camera are the times in which the camera can be activated. It's during school hours.
Right. So from what I understand from another jurisdiction is that when it is located, the speeding is located in a school zone, it is an additional increase or fee because it's located in a school zone. So that may be something to consider.
Thank you, Councilmember McDonald. Is there any further discussion on Resolution 03-26? I know there's a couple questions that need to be answered. Is there a position of the council about considering this designation for the school zone for or against considering moving the resolution forward? Council Member Brownson.
The only exception where we can get a speed camera on 210?
Well, it's the first step, Council Member. We were already told no by State Highway Administration because we had not designated that area as a school zone.
Okay, so they're looking for some special reason, sounds like. Because I thought we tried to get one down there before and that's what, and it was, like you said, it was denied. So this is a step 2 to try to get a speed camera there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Is anyone, I'm looking for someone to go on record as, is there support to move this forward and bring it back in a future meeting, or Council President Noble?
Yeah.
Yes.
I support that we bring this back at our town meeting to vote on it. I'm in support of expanding school zones just to keep our children safe. So people shouldn't be speeding, period, but in the school zones, we need to keep our children safe. So that's part of the Vision Zero, and for Maryland Transportation, they want to see that we are active in trying to do the initial keep our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Jackson.
As promised to Councilmember Brownson, the specific mileage is within a half mile of a school, and that particular area is within a half mile.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson and council. All right, next we will move to the next item on our agenda, which is department reports. The first report is the town administrator and project manager. Now, normally, Mr. Jackson, I would only ask if there were questions for your report, but I know that there's something that came up a couple times tonight. So if you could touch on the efforts we're exploring for just our cleaners location.
Certainly. While everyone was busy enjoying their holiday, the mayor and I was busy at work trying to find a solution for the cleaners.
State that one more time. State that one more time.
You want me to
I want to
say that
get
again?
I want to get a good, clean version of that so everyone
Yeah.
hears.
While everyone was enjoying their holiday, the mayor and I were busy at work trying to find a solution for 5529 Livingston Road, the cleaners. So the only thing I would add with that, Mr. Mayor, is Council President Noble, we have a tentative plan to secure that area immediately and then go for beautification secondarily. First things first is we're going to install a fence line across the front of the property to secure it first, to prevent vagrancy and to prevent littering and dumping. And then at some point, hopefully not too far in the future, we're trying to find a way to beautify that by either some sort of material mural or something. The only question we have, and the chief and I has been battling back and forth on how to do this. He'll probably win because I believe he's correct. It's probably not in our best interest to completely block what's inside of that area to allow officers to be able to see if someone has climbed the fence or something. So we'll find a solution, but that's what we've been working on. Me too.
Yeah, so I have some meetings coming up with local arts organizations and hope to identify an opportunity to potentially do a mural maybe on the building itself or on the grounds. We're going to look at every option we have because we know that site is highly visible. It's highly valuable, even though everyone doesn't respect it the same way that we do. And as the town and the leadership, we want to set a good tone for the community about how we present and take care of property, even if it's in transition. And as you know, we're going to be bringing strategic planning recommendations. The commission will be meeting and bringing a recommendation to the council so we could do the planning process. And we hope to answer in that process some definitive options that we can take for that property that will benefit the community and move it into its next phase. So we're not just doing triage, but we're actually moving toward a long-term solution. Any other questions for the town administrator's report for this month?
Oh,
Councilmember Brownson.
I just want to talk about the cleaners one more time, because it's right there by a bus stop and a lot of trash gets dumped there. So if Public Works could just monitor and keep, I'm on the beautification committee. So if Public Works could just keep that area clean, I mean, if you have to do 1 or 2 runs per day, just pick up the trash.
Thank you, Councilmember Brownson. And I reiterated Public Works duties in that area, and they've recommitted themselves to ensuring that it's kept up as best as possible.
Did you put consequences if they don't?
Oh, we from an administrative standpoint, don't worry about that. All right. Thank you, Mr. Town Administrator. Next, we will move to the Youth and Community Programming. I know Mr. Holland's not here, but if there are any questions, we can put them on the record. Okay, hearing none. Next, we'll move to the Treasurer's Report. Any questions for Mr. Frankenfield this evening? Councilmember Brownson.
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Frankenfield. I do want to remind you about the Finance Committee and Ways and Means Committee meeting on the 4th Saturday of this month, and we would like, It's the date is January 24th, and we would like, if possible, that if you could come, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, did we get did you hear back from the audit report for 23 and 24 from the controller? I think that's who you sent it to. Do they send a response back after you submit the audit? You never hear anything?
No, it's just a turn it in, and the state circles back with a letter of non-compliance if there's items that they think the auditor missed. And yeah, no communication so far on 23 or 24.
Okay. And did you send us a copy of the FY? I see in your report you finished the FY 25. Did we get a copy of that?
No, we need to get it out.
Have you sent the report in already?
Yes,
I
it
thought you
went
said
right up.
once we could get a look at it before it goes out. Could we get a copy, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll mention that in one of the previous meetings, we mentioned it was done and close to being done. There was a thorough review of the report to catch and find any of those lingering issues that were identified in the prior year submission. So the county was correct, and the state was correct, and the town throughout the document is correct. We took note of those areas where council members noticed mistakes or typos. So thank you for being vigilant and for bringing those to our attention. And yeah, Mr. Frankenfield, we'll look forward to seeing the audit review pushed out to the council, and once staff have it, it'll go on the website and it'll be accessible to the community as all prior audits are.
Thank you.
And just a brief note on audits. Now that we are in a period, or now that we're in a posture of compliance, continuing compliance, it'll be time for us to award the audit for FY26 to a firm, so we can have that done and be ready to begin the auditing process as soon as FY26 wraps up. So look for a recommendation to come forward for that early in the year. Councilmember Little.
I just wanted to know if there's any idea of when the updated FY26 budget book will be out.
Yes, Mr. Frankenfield, I believe the updated budget book went out today. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, in our revised, I'm getting my ears confused. I'm thinking 27, but yes, we finalized the changes. Mayor, if you're okay, we'll send that out to the group with our latest revised version.
Okay, give me just a moment. And then there'll be another revision coming because council tonight approved the budget amendment for the code enforcement officer. So yes, the updated budget book with the latest change for the COLA adjustment for the sworn officers, that's ready and will go out tomorrow. And there'll be another update to reflect the legislation that was passed today. No, we didn't have a resolution. No, it was not a new appropriation. It was a transfer within the public safety budget. So it wasn't a major appropriation change. It was within that department. The funds were moved. So no lines were increased. It came from funds within public safety. All right. Any other questions for the treasurer's report? All right. Hearing none. Police department report. Any questions for that report this month? Councilmember Brownson.
Elaborate on what they were, if it's not confidential.
Until it's closed out, we can't, but I can
Okay.
give you a answer at the next meeting. It should be closed out by then.
Okay, I just wondered, did it affect the residents? And I was just curious, is it something we should alert them about?
The one thing I will say that I can say is be mindful of people who are calling asking for money over the phone, and you're giving out your personal information. So just trust but verify. I would say that. So that's kind of what we're seeing. A lot of people are giving out personal information People are claiming that you owe money or they need this. So just have people be cautious about giving out any credit card, any bank information, social security numbers over the phone to somebody you haven't verified.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief Ruffin and Council Member Brownson. If I might go back to the reports, I realized that there's one major initiative that's coming to the community that I wasn't able to show on the slides. I think I went past them without covering them, and want to make sure that those who are online in the audience and at home get a chance to see this. It's related to the stop sign monitoring program. So if council would allow, I'm going to go back just to put that on the screen so people can see, because we want to make sure that everyone has ample opportunity to know about it. And then more importantly, to go to the dashboard where you can see in real time some of the activity that we are facing in the town. Just a moment. Okay. There we go. So the Avio stop sign monitoring program is beginning this month. Avio is a technology company focused around safety, and they have a program that the town of Forest Heights agreed to participate in late last year, which will be monitoring stop sign violations at 11 intersections throughout the town of Forest Heights. This program comes after 2 pilot studies where we noticed there are hundreds of violations happening every single day at many of the stop signs around town. We've even seen in some egregious examples, school buses that are running the stop signs. And so in an effort to correct this behavior, we have entered into this agreement with Avio. And this month, there'll be a warning period. Likely this week, the warning period will begin and will run for 30 days. So until the approximately the first week of February, any violations incurred will be a warning. But after that time, after the 30-day warning period, citations will start, which means if you run the stop sign, you'll be issued a citation for violating the traffic safety device. But what I want to point to more importantly is this link. Under next steps, you'll see that you can visit a site, www.letsdrivesafer.com/Forest Heights. That is where you can actually see what's happening. And at that site, you'll see the online dashboard, which shows you that this program is not designed to only get people to pay tickets. It's designed to change behavior. And so each person that receives a violation, in addition to community members like you at home, if you ever want to go to this link and see what's going on, it'll show you different intersections around the town. This one is specifically at Ottawa Street and Comanche Drive. It shows that there were 125 violations a day. There was an 83% violation rate, which meant 83% of the vehicles coming through this intersection were not stopping at the stop sign. And one of the reasons why the dashboard exists is so that when someone violates the stop sign and they are directed to go review the violation, it's not only just to collect the funds, they can look at and see what went wrong during that stop. And as a reminder, a stop at a stop sign means that the vehicle's wheels stop moving. They stop moving. It doesn't mean if there's no one there that you continue to go through. Stop signs are not optional. They are mandatory. And they are specifically because often what you don't see initially while coming up to the stop sign will appear while you're going through an intersection. And so there'll be many notices about this in the Inquirer Gazette, which is a newspaper that members in the surrounding area can get if you still buy a paper newsletter. Council President Noble has one in person here. There'll be signs around the town. There'll be notices in the newsletter. There'll be notices on our website. There will be notices on our social media. And we'll be making reports in each of these meetings. So we are looking forward to decreasing the number of violations, making all intersections safe. You know, many of the streets in the town don't have sidewalks, and people are walking in the street to get back and forth to work, back and forth to bus stops. And we all deserve safer streets. And then Forest Heights, we're taking this action to move safely in that direction. Thank you, members of the council, for indulging that presentation so we can make sure members of the community get it. This brings us to the end of our agenda tonight. And if there's no other business, the time is now 8:58 and this meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.